Rain fell on the grand house. Inside, Clara sat by her window. She was 20 years old, plain face, sharp mind, a slight limp from birth. Her mother's voice cut through the hall. "Clara, come here, now." Clara limped down the stairs. Her heart sank. She knew that tone. "Look at you," her mother said. Cold eyes, tight lips, still limping, still plain. What man would want you? Her sister Emma laughed. Pretty Emma. Perfect Emma. Maybe a blind one, she said. Clara's cheeks burned. She looked down. Her hands shook. "I have an idea for the harvest," Clara said softly. "We could sell herbs to—" "Quiet," her father snapped. "No one asked you." Clara bit her lip. She always had good ideas, smart plans, but no one listened. They saw her limp first, her plain face second, her mind never. That evening, her father called her to his study. His face was stone. "You will marry Lord Bram," he said. No warmth, no care. Clara's blood froze. The monster? "Yes, he needs a wife. We need his gold. You need a husband. Any husband." People whispered about Lord Bram. They said he was dark, cruel, cold as winter. Some said he hurt people. Others said he never smiled. "Father, please. It's done. You leave in 3 days." Clara ran to her room. She threw herself on her bed. Tears came like rain, hot and endless. Her mother found her there. "Stop crying," she said. "This is more than you deserve. A monster for a monster." The words cut deep. Clara turned to face the wall. "I'm not a monster," she whispered. But her mother was already gone. That night, Clara stared at the ceiling. Fear filled her chest. But then something else grew, something stronger. "I will survive this," she told herself. "I will endure." She wiped her tears, her jaw set firm. "I am stronger than they think." The rain kept falling, but Clara had stopped crying. 3 days felt like 3 minutes. Too fast, too soon. Her bag was packed, her plain dress pressed, her heart ready for battle. "Remember," her mother said at the door, "don't shame us more than you already have." Clara looked back once, at the cold house, the cold family, the cold life she knew. Then she climbed into the carriage. The horses moved forward. Behind her, whispers followed. "Poor Lord Bram," someone said, getting stuck with her. Clara closed her eyes, her hands made fists. "We'll see," she said quietly. "We'll see." Lord Bram stood in his study, tall, broad shoulders, scars on his hands from old battles. His face was serious. Some called it cruel. The truth was different. He read Clara's letter, her father's words, cold business talk. Nothing about the girl herself. "She has a limp," the letter said. "Plain face, but she can read. She won't cause trouble." Bram set the letter down. He looked out his window. Hills rolled green and peaceful. His home was quiet, safe, far from the noise of town. People feared him. He knew this. War had marked him, left scars on his body, left pain in his heart, but he was not cruel. He sought peace now, simple days, honest work, and perhaps a partner who might understand. He didn't need a pretty wife. Pretty wives wanted parties, wanted to show off, wanted things he couldn't give. He needed someone real, someone who knew what pain felt like, someone who might see past his scars to find him. His housekeeper, Mrs. Rose, knocked. "Sir, the room is ready for your bride." Bram nodded. "Fresh flowers." "Yes, sir. And her favorite books, if she likes to read." "Good. She might be scared. Make sure she feels welcome." Mrs. Rose smiled. She had worked for Bram for years. She knew his heart. "She's lucky, sir, even if she doesn't know it yet." Bram's mouth almost smiled. Almost. "We'll see, Mrs. Rose, we'll see." That evening, Bram sat by his fire. He thought about war, about blood, about the men he'd killed to protect others. People saw those scars. They made up stories, dark stories, monster stories. But killing to save innocent people, that wasn't evil. That was duty. Hard duty. Painful duty. But right. He hoped Clara might understand this. Someday, he hoped she might see him, really see him. Not the monster people whispered about, just a man. A tired man who wanted peace, who wanted someone to share quiet evenings with, someone to talk to, someone to care for, someone who might perhaps care for him too. The fire crackled. Bram closed his eyes. Tomorrow she would arrive. Tomorrow his life would change. He prayed it would change for the better. For both of them. The carriage stopped. Clara's hands shook. The driver opened her door. "Bram Hall, miss," he said quietly. "Kind eyes. Good luck." Clara stepped down. Her legs felt weak. The house rose before her like a mountain. Dark stone, tall windows, but flowers grew near the door. The gardens looked cared for. Heavy footsteps came closer. Clara's heart hammered. Then he appeared. Lord Bram was tall, very tall. His face was serious. Scars marked his hands. His clothes were simple but clean. Clara waited for harsh words, for cold stares, for cruelty. Instead, he bowed, deep and respectful. "Lady Clara," he said. His voice was calm, deep, gentle. "Welcome to your new home." She stared. This was not what she expected. "Thank you," she whispered. He stepped aside, gestured to the door. "You must be tired and hungry." Clara limped forward. She felt his eyes on her, waiting for him to comment, to mock, to show disgust. He said nothing. He simply walked beside her, matching her slower pace. The inside was warm. Fires burned in hearths. Candles gave soft light. It felt peaceful. "Mrs. Rose will show you to your room," Bram said. "Dinner in an hour, if you wish." Clara nodded, still scared, still confused. An older woman appeared. Warm smile, gentle hands. "This way, dear," Mrs. Rose said. "I've prepared everything just for you." Clara followed up the stairs. Her room was beautiful. Clean bed, fresh flowers, books on a small table. "Books?" Clara asked. "Lord Bram thought you might like to read," Mrs. Rose said. "He has many books. You're welcome to any of them." Clara touched a book cover. Soft leather, well cared for. He reads?" "Oh yes, dear. Every evening. Sometimes he reads aloud to the staff. Beautiful voice he has." This didn't match the stories. Monsters didn't read. Monsters didn't put flowers in guest rooms. Clara washed her face, changed her dress. Her hands still shook, but less now. Dinner was set in a small room, not the grand hall, somewhere cozy, warm. Bram stood when she entered, pulled out her chair. "I hope you like simple food," he said. "We grow most of it here." The table held fresh bread, warm soup, roasted meat that smelled wonderful. Clara waited. Surely this was a trick. The food must be poisoned, or spoiled, or... Bram served himself first, ate normally, no poison then. He poured wine into her cup, his own hands. No servant did it. Are you not afraid I'll poison you?" Clara asked. The words slipped out. Bram looked surprised, then sad. "Why would I poison my wife?" he asked gently. Clara had no answer. They ate in quiet, not uncomfortable quiet, just peaceful quiet. "The gardens are beautiful," Clara said finally. "Thank you. I tend them myself. Do you like flowers?" "Yes. My mother never let me..." She stopped. Too much information. "Never let you what?" "Touch them," she said. "I would ruin them." Bram's jaw tightened, but not at her mother's words. "Here, you may touch any flower you wish," he said. "You may pick them, arrange them, plant new ones if you like." Clara's eyes filled with tears. No one had ever said such things to her. "Thank you," she whispered. After dinner, Bram walked her to her door. "Sleep well, Clara," he said. "Tomorrow we can talk about whatever you wish." He didn't try to touch her, didn't demand anything, just kindness. Clara closed her door, leaned against it. This was not what she had expected, not at all. Maybe the stories were wrong. Maybe he wasn't a monster after all. Morning came with soft light. Clara woke slowly, no harsh voices, no cold commands, just peace. A knock at her door. Mrs. Rose entered with a tray. "Good morning, dear. Lord Bram thought you might like breakfast in your room today. Fresh eggs, warm bread with honey, tea that smelled like flowers." "Where is he?" Clara asked. "In the garden. He starts early, always has." Clara ate slowly, looking out her window. She could see him below, kneeling by roses, his large hands gentle with small blooms. When she went downstairs, he looked up, smiled slightly. "Good morning. Did you sleep well?" "Yes, very well." He stood, brushed dirt from his knees. "Would you like to see the gardens, or would you prefer to rest more?" Clara almost said rest. Safe answer, easy answer, but something made her brave. "The gardens, please." They walked together. He pointed out different flowers, told her their names, asked her opinions. "This section gets too much sun," he said. "I can't decide what to plant." Clara studied the spot. Herbs might work. They like sun, and they're useful too. Bram stopped walking, looked at her with interest. "What kinds of herbs?" "Well, mint for tea, lavender for soap, rosemary for cooking, sage for—" She stopped. Was she talking too much? "Please continue." "Sage for healing, small cuts and such. My grandmother taught me, before she died." "That sounds perfect. Would you help me plan it?" Clara's heart jumped. "You want my help?" "Very much." No one had ever wanted her help before. Her ideas, her thoughts. "Yes," she said, "I would like that." They spent the morning planning, drawing sketches in the dirt, talking about which herbs grew well together. For lunch, they sat in the small dining room again. Clara felt less afraid, more. "May I ask you something?" she said. "Anything." "Why did you agree to marry me?" my father said. "He said you needed gold. But this house is beautiful. You don't seem poor." Bram was quiet for a moment. "I'm not poor. I don't need your father's gold." "Then why?" "Because I hoped to find someone who might understand what it's like to be judged before being known." Clara's breath caught. "The stories about you are mostly false. I fought in wars, yes. I killed men, yes. But only to protect others, only when I had no choice. People fear you because you're a soldier. People fear what they don't understand. A man who lives alone, who has scars, who doesn't attend their parties or court their daughters." Clara nodded slowly. "People judge me too, for my limp, my plain face." "You're not plain." The words were soft, simple, but they hit Clara like lightning. What?" "You have kind eyes, a gentle voice, a sharp mind. These are not plain things." Clara felt heat in her cheeks. No one had ever called her beautiful, but this felt better than beautiful. That afternoon, Bram showed her his library, walls of books, more books than Clara had ever seen. "You may read any of them," he said, "or I could read to you if you prefer." "You would read to me." "If you'd like." Clara chose a book about healing plants. Bram sat in a chair nearby. She curled up on a window seat. They read in comfortable silence. Occasionally, Clara would look up, find him watching her with gentle eyes. What, she would ask. Nothing, just it's nice, having someone here. Clara felt the same. For the first time in her life she felt wanted, not tolerated, not endured, wanted. At dinner, Bram asked about her day, really asked, really listened to her answers. The herb garden will be beautiful, he said. When do we start planting? Tomorrow, if the weather holds. Perfect. He walked her to her room again. Still no demands, still no expectations, just kindness. Good night, Clara. Good night, Bram. It was the first time she'd used his name. He smiled, a real smile, warm and genuine. Clara closed her door, but this time she wasn't scared. This time she was. Days passed like pages in a good book. Clara woke each morning with less fear, more hope. She started working in the herb garden. Her hands grew dirty, her back grew strong, her heart grew proud. The workers noticed her. At first, they watched carefully, waiting to see if she was cruel like other noble ladies. But Clara was different. When young Tom cut his hand on a fence, she cleaned it, wrapped it with soft cloth, used healing herbs her grandmother had taught her about. "Thank you, my lady," Tom said, real gratitude in his voice. "Just Clara," she said. "We're all just people here." Word spread. The new lady was kind, helpful, smart about healing. When the baker's wife fell sick, they brought her to Clara. Clara made a tea from mint and ginger. The woman felt better in hours. "You have a gift," Mrs. Rose told her. Clara looked at her hands, stained with herbs, rough from work, but capable, useful. "I never knew," Clara said. "No one ever let me try." Bram found her in the garden one evening. She was grinding dried sage into powder, concentrating hard. "You look different," he said. Clara looked up. "Different how?" "Confident, strong, like you belong here." Clara felt warmth spread through her chest. "I feel different. I feel useful." "You are useful. More than useful, you're needed." Needed. The word was magic to Clara's ears. "The workers trust you," Bram continued. "They come to me less now. They go to you instead." "Is that bad?" "It's wonderful. It means they see what I see." "What do you see?" Bram stepped closer. His eyes were serious, kind. "I see a woman who cares for others, who uses her gifts to help, who makes everyone around her better." Clara's heart hammered. No one had ever seen her this way. "I see someone worth respecting," Bram said softly. That night, Clara stood before her mirror, really looked at herself. Her face was still plain, her limp still there, but something else had changed. Her shoulders were straight, her chin was up, her eyes held strength. She thought about her mother's words. Monster, useless, shameful. But looking at herself now, Clara saw something different. She saw a healer, a helper, a woman with purpose. She saw someone who mattered. The next morning brought new challenges. A child from the village had fever. His mother carried him to Clara, tears streaming. "Please, my lady, please help him." Clara felt fear rise up. What if she made him worse? What if she failed? Then she looked at Bram. He stood quietly nearby, trust in his eyes. Clara took a deep breath. She knew herbs. She knew healing. She could do this. She made a careful tea, cooled the child's skin with wet cloths, spoke gently to calm his fears. Hours passed. Slowly the fever broke. The child opened his eyes, smiled. His mother wept with joy. "You saved him. You saved my boy." Clara felt tears on her own cheeks, but these were happy tears, proud tears. She had done this. Her knowledge, her skill, her care. For the first time in her life, Clara felt truly proud of who she was. Bram took her hand, squeezed gently. "Well done," he said. Simple words, but they meant everything. That evening, they sat by the fire, reading together as they often did now. "Clara," Bram said softly. "Yes." "You know you're remarkable, don't you?" Clara's heart fluttered. "I'm just me." "Exactly. And just you is remarkable." Clara closed her book, looked at this man who had given her so much: safety, respect, purpose, kindness. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For seeing me, really seeing me." Bram's eyes were tender. "Thank you for letting me." Outside, wind moved through trees. Inside, two people who had been alone were alone no longer. Clara felt something growing in her chest, something warm and strong and wonderful. Something that might be love. Rain fell again that evening, but this time Clara didn't feel sad watching it. She and Bram sat by the fire, books in their laps, but neither was reading. "May I tell you something?" Clara asked quietly. "Always." Clara took a breath. I used to believe I was cursed, that God made me wrong, with my limp, my plain face." Bram set down his book, listened carefully. "My mother said it every day. Clara the curse, Clara the mistake. Even my sister," Clara's voice caught. "Even your sister." "What?" "She said I was lucky to marry anyone, even a monster." Bram's jaw tightened. Their words were cruel and wrong. But I believed them. For 20 years, I believed I was less broken, wrong. Clara looked at Bram. His face was gentle, patient. "What changed?" he asked. "You, this place, the way people look at me here, like I matter. You do matter." I'm starting to believe that. They sat in comfortable quiet. Fire crackled. Rain tapped the windows. "May I tell you something?" Bram asked. Clara nodded. "I know what it's like to be called a monster." Bram stared into the fire, his hands clasped together. "In the war, I had to make hard choices. Kill or watch innocent people die." Clara waited. She could see pain in his eyes. "I chose to kill, to protect others. But when I came home," Bram's voice was rough. "People whispered, called me dangerous, cold, monster. But you saved people." "Yes, but they only saw the killing, not the saving." Clara understood. "They judged you without knowing." "Just like they judged you." Their eyes met across the firelight. Two people who knew what it meant to be misunderstood, to be labeled, to be feared. "It's lonely," Clara whispered. "Very lonely." More silence, but it wasn't empty silence. It was full of understanding. "Clara," Bram said softly. "Yes." "I want you to know what they said about you was lies, all of it." Clara felt tears rise. "What they said about you was lies too." Bram smiled, small but real. "We're quite a pair, aren't we? The monster and the curse." Clara laughed. Actually laughed. "When you put it like that, we sound like characters in a story." "What kind of story?" Bram's eyes grew warm. "The kind where the broken people find each other and discover they weren't broken after all." Clara's heart fluttered. "Is that what this is?" "I hope so." The fire popped. Sparks flew up the chimney. "Bram," Clara said carefully. "Yes?" "When we married, I was terrified. I thought you would hurt me, use me, throw me away when you got tired of me. And now?" Clara looked at his scarred hands, his serious face, his kind eyes. "Now I think you might be the first person who's ever truly cared about me." Bram's breath caught. "Clara, I know this marriage wasn't about love. It was business, arrangement." "It started that way," Bram agreed quietly. "Started." Bram leaned forward. his eyes intense. Clara, somewhere between the herb garden and the healing and the quiet evenings, somewhere in there, I stopped thinking of you as my arranged wife. Clara's pulse quickened. What do you think of me as? As the woman I was meant to find, the person who makes this house a home, the partner I never dared hope for. Tears slipped down Clara's cheeks. Happy tears. I feel the same, she whispered. Do you? Yes, you make me feel valuable, important, like I have something to offer. You have everything to offer. They sat closer now, not touching yet, but close. I was so afraid, Clara said, for so long afraid of being hurt, rejected, thrown away. You're safe here, with me, always. Promise? Promise. Clara reached out slowly, took Bram's scarred hand in hers. Your scars don't make you a monster, she said softly. Your limp doesn't make you a curse, he replied. They held hands in the firelight, two wounded people who had found healing in each other. Outside, the storm grew stronger, but inside, two hearts grew warmer. Love was growing, slowly, carefully, but surely. And for the first time in both their lives, neither felt alone. 3 weeks later, riders came to Bram Hall. Clara saw them from her garden. Her blood turned cold. Her family's colors, her family's crest. Clara. Her mother's voice cut across the courtyard like a blade. Clara stood slowly. Dirt on her dress, herbs in her hands, confidence in her posture. But seeing her mother made her feel small again, scared again. Emma climbed down from her horse. Still beautiful, still perfect, still cruel. Look at you, Emma said with a sneer, playing in the dirt like a servant. I'm tending my garden, Clara said quietly. Her mother approached, cold eyes, tight mouth, no warmth at all. We heard disturbing news, she said. People say you're helping, working, acting above your station. I'm helping people heal. You're embarrassing us. A lady doesn't work with her hands, doesn't get dirty, doesn't lower herself. Bram appeared at Clara's side, tall, strong, protective. Lady Clara is welcome to pursue any interests she chooses, he said firmly. Emma looked Bram up and down, her lip curled. So this is the monster, she said. He looks normal. How disappointing. Emma, Clara warned. What? Did you expect me to be afraid? He's just a man, a scarred, broken man who settled for you. Clara felt the old shame rising, the old fear. Her mother stepped closer to Bram. We need to speak privately. Anything you say can be said in front of my wife. Wife? Emma laughed. Is that what you call this arrangement? They moved to the house. Clara's legs felt weak. Her confidence was cracking. In the sitting room, her mother took control. We've learned some interesting facts about you, Lord Bram, such as you fought against our cousin, Lord Edward, in the border wars. Clara's heart stopped. She looked at Bram. His face had gone stone cold. I fought against many people in the wars, he said carefully. You killed his son, our nephew. James was only 19. The room went silent. Clara stared at Bram. Her mouth opened, but no words came. It was war, Bram said quietly. I killed to protect. You killed family, Emma hissed. Our family. Clara felt the world spinning. Is it true? Bram looked at her, pain in his eyes. Yes, but Clara, you have to understand. You killed my cousin. Clara's voice was small, broken. He was trying to kill innocent villagers. I had to stop him. But you never told me. No, I didn't. Clara's mother smiled coldly. Now do you see? This marriage was never about kindness. It was about guilt. He took one of ours, so he settled for taking the worthless one as payment. That's not true, Bram said firmly. Isn't it? Tell me, Lord Bram, when my husband offered Clara, didn't you see it as fitting justice? Bram was quiet too long. Too long. Clara felt her heart breaking. Did you marry me because you felt guilty? Clara, it's complicated. Yes or no? Bram's silence was answer enough. Clara stood slowly, her legs shook, her world was falling apart. So everything, the kindness, the respect, the caring, it was all guilt? No, Clara, what I feel for you is real. But it started as guilt. Yes, but... Clara turned away, tears falling now. I need to be alone. She walked to her room, slowly, carefully, each step hurt. Behind her she heard Emma's laugh. Poor Clara, always the last to know. In her room, Clara sat on her bed, stared at her hands, her useful hands, her healing hands. Had it all been lies, the respect, the partnership, the growing love? Was she still just the worthless daughter, the payment for a debt? Outside her door, she heard Bram's voice. Clara, please, let me explain. But Clara couldn't listen. Not yet, maybe not ever. The fairy tale was over. The monster was real after all. Not cruel, not violent, but worse. He was guilty, and she was his penance. Everything she'd believed about herself, about them, about her worth, it was built on guilt and lies. Clara cried into her pillow, deep, broken sobs. She had been so stupid, so naive, so desperate for love that she'd believed in a dream. But dreams end, and monsters are still monsters. Even when they're kind. Clara spent 2 days in her room, crying, thinking, hurting. But on the third morning, something changed. She looked in her mirror, saw her red eyes, her pale face, her slumped shoulders. This was the old Clara, the broken Clara, the worthless Clara. But was she still that person? Really? Clara thought about the past months, the healing she'd done, the people she'd helped, the respect she'd earned. Had that been guilt too? Had Tom thanked her out of guilt? Had the sick child's mother wept with joy out of guilt? No. Clara stood straighter, looked deeper into the mirror. The work she'd done was real, the healing was real, the help she'd given was real. Maybe Bram's reasons for marrying her had been wrong, but that didn't make everything wrong. Clara washed her face, brushed her hair, put on her best dress. She had things to say, and for the first time in her life, she was going to say them. Downstairs, her family sat in the parlor, drinking tea, making cruel jokes, acting like they owned the place. Bram stood by the window, alone, miserable. Clara entered the room, her back straight, her chin up, her voice clear. I have something to say. Emma rolled her eyes. Oh good, the invalid wants to speak. Emma, Clara said firmly, be quiet. Emma's mouth dropped open. Clara had never spoken to her like that, ever. Clara turned to her mother. You came here to hurt me, to break me, to take away the first happiness I've ever known. Clara, don't be dramatic. I'm not finished. The room fell silent. Even Bram turned to stare. Clara's voice grew stronger. You called me worthless, useless, a curse. For 20 years I believed you. Because it's true, her mother said coldly. No, it's not. Clara stepped into the center of the room, all eyes on her. I have healed sick children. I have saved lives. I have earned respect from people who don't even know my name. You're just playing at being important. I am important. Clara's voice rang out strong and clear. I matter. I have value. I have worth. That has nothing to do with my face or my limp or your approval. Her mother stood up, angry now. How dare you? How dare I what? Tell the truth. Stand up for myself. Refuse to let you hurt me anymore. Clara turned to Emma. And you, Beautiful, perfect Emma. What have you ever done for anyone? What lives have you saved? What good have you brought to the world? Emma sputtered. No answer came. That's what I thought, Clara said. Now she faced her mother directly. You want to know what's really true. You're jealous. Jealous? Of you? Yes, because I found something you never have. I found purpose. I found respect. I found people who value me for who I am, not what I look like. Clara's voice softened but stayed strong. And yes, Mother, I found love, real love, from a good man who sees my worth. She turned to Bram. His eyes were wide, hopeful. Yes, Bram, I know you married me out of guilt. I know this started wrong. Bram started to speak. Clara held up her hand. But I also know what happened after that. I know how you treat me, how you listen to me, how you respect me, how you care for me. Clara's voice grew tender. I know the difference between guilt and love, and what I see in your eyes, that's not guilt anymore. Clara, Bram whispered. Maybe we started wrong, but we can choose how we continue. Clara faced her family one last time. You came here to destroy my happiness, to convince me I'm worthless, to take away my confidence. She smiled, a strong, sure smile. You failed. Her mother's face was red with rage. You ungrateful little... I'm not little anymore, and I'm not yours to control. Clara walked to Bram's side, took his hand. This is my husband. This is my home. This is my life, and you are not welcome in it. The room was dead silent. I want you to leave, Clara said clearly. Now. Clara, her mother gasped. Leave, and don't come back. I have nothing more to say to you, ever. Her mother and Emma looked shocked, helpless. For the first time in Clara's life, they had no power over her. They left, angry and defeated. Clara watched them go, then turned to Bram. Now, she said gently, we need to talk. Clara and Bram sat in the garden, among the herbs Clara had planted, the herbs that had given her purpose. I'm sorry, Bram said quietly, for not telling you about your cousin, for starting this marriage with the wrong reasons. Clara nodded. It hurt, finding out that way, from them. I should have told you myself, long ago. Yes, you should have. They sat in silence. Bees hummed in the lavender. Life continued around them. Can you forgive me? Bram asked. Clara considered this, really considered it. Tell me about my cousin. The truth, all of it. Bram took a deep breath. James was young, angry. He and his men were burning villages, killing families who couldn't pay taxes. Clara listened carefully. I tried to stop them peacefully first. I begged him to withdraw, but he wouldn't listen. He said the villagers deserved to die for being poor. So you fought him? Yes, to protect innocent people, children, mothers, old people who had done nothing wrong. Clara could picture it. Bram facing a choice, let innocents die or stop the killing. When your father offered me marriage to you, yes, I saw it as justice, payment for taking a life. The words still hurt, but Clara understood now. But Clara, Bram continued, his voice intense, that feeling lasted exactly one day. One day? The day you arrived, the day I saw you, scared but brave, gentle but strong. That's when everything changed. Clara felt her heart warming. You weren't payment anymore. You were you, a woman worth knowing, worth caring for, worth loving. When did you know you loved me? Bram smiled softly. When you saved that child's life. I watched you work, saw your skill, your compassion, your strength, and I thought, this woman is extraordinary. Clara's eyes filled with tears, happy tears. I love you too, she whispered. Not because you're perfect, but because you're good, really good, deep down good. Even knowing about your cousin, you saved innocent people, That makes you a hero, not a monster. Bram reached for her hands. Can we start over? Really start over, with truth this time? Clara smiled. Yes, but not as different people, as who we really are. Who are we really? You're a good man who's made hard choices, who protects people, who's kind and gentle and strong. And you? I'm a healer, a helper, a woman with value and purpose and strength, a woman worth loving. Yes, you are. They kissed then, soft and sweet, a kiss of new beginnings. Over the next weeks, news spread through the villages, the story of Clara standing up to her cruel family, of her speaking with strength and courage. People came from farther away now, seeking Clara's healing, her wisdom, her help. Lady Clara, they called her, but with respect, real respect. The local lord visited. He'd heard about Clara's skills. My wife is with child, he said. We've lost babies before. Could you help her? Clara agreed. She spent days with the lord's wife, teaching her about herbs that helped pregnancy, about foods that gave strength, about rest and care. When the baby came, healthy and strong, the Lord wept with joy. You saved them both, he said. Name your reward. Just spread the word, Clara said. That healing comes from knowledge and care, not from magic or fear. The Lord nodded. Lady Clara the healer, that's what people call you now. Clara smiled. A title earned through good work, not birth or beauty or marriage. Bram watched all this with pride. His wife was becoming known throughout the region, respected, valued. Are you proud of me? Clara asked one evening. So proud I can barely contain it, Bram said. But more than proud, I'm grateful. For what? That you chose to stay, to forgive, to build something real with me. Where else would I go? This is my home. You are my home. They stood together in their garden, looking at the herbs Clara had planted, the healing plants she tended. Do you ever regret it? Bram asked. Marrying the monster? Clara laughed. You're not a monster. You never were. What am I then? Clara looked at this man who had given her everything. Safety, respect, purpose, love. You're my angel, she said simply. And in the fading light of evening, surrounded by the fruits of their shared labor, that felt exactly right. 2 years later, Clara stood in the same garden, but everything had changed. The herb garden had grown into a healing center. People came from distant towns seeking Clara's help. She'd trained other women to assist her. The plain girl with the limp was now Lady Clara the healer, known throughout the region, respected by lords and peasants alike. But more important than fame was happiness. Clara was happy, truly, deeply happy. Bram approached from the house, in his arms a small bundle, their daughter sleeping peacefully. How is our little Rose? Clara asked softly. Perfect, just like her mother. Clara laughed. I'm not perfect. You're perfect for me. They sat together on a bench Bram had built, watching their workers tend the expanded gardens, watching students learn healing arts. Do you remember, Clara said, when you asked me what I saw in the mirror? You saw someone worthless, someone broken, and now? Clara considered. Now I see a healer, a teacher, a mother, a wife, someone who matters, someone who changed everything she touched. It was true. Clara's influence had spread far beyond their estate. She'd taught healing to dozens of women, saved countless lives, brought knowledge where before there had been fear. The old Clara seems like a different person, she mused. She wasn't different, just hidden, buried under other people's lies. Clara kissed their daughter's forehead. This little one will never doubt her worth. Never, Bram agreed firmly. A rider approached. Clara recognized him. A messenger from the capital. Lady Clara, he called, I bring greetings from the Queen herself." Clara and Bram exchanged surprised looks. "Her Majesty has heard of your work, your healing, your teaching. She requests your presence at court." "The Queen wants to meet me?" "She wishes to establish healing centers throughout the kingdom, centers based on your methods. She wants you to lead this effort." Clara's heart raced. The Queen, asking for her help, her knowledge, her leadership. "What do you think?" she asked Bram quietly. "I think," Bram said with a proud smile, "that the world needs what you have to offer." Clara looked around at her home, her garden, her life. "We'll need to travel sometimes, to the capital, to other regions. Then we'll travel together, all of us." Clara smiled. "A traveling family of healers? Why not? We've already proven that broken people can heal, that monsters can be angels, that worthless can become priceless." Clara stood, her daughter in her arms, her husband by her side. Once, she'd been the girl no one wanted, the curse, the punishment, the last choice. Now she was the woman everyone sought, the healer, the teacher, the leader. "Yes," she told the messenger, "tell the Queen I accept." As the messenger rode away, Clara reflected on the journey. From a cold house where she was rejected, to a warm home where she was cherished. From believing she was worthless to knowing she was invaluable. From being called a monster to being seen as an angel. "Do you think," she asked Bram, "that everything happens for a reason?" "I think we make our own reasons. We choose what our pain becomes, what our struggles create." Clara nodded. "My pain made me compassionate. My struggles made me strong. And together we made something beautiful." That evening, as they had every evening for 2 years, Clara and Bram sat by their fire, reading together, planning together, dreaming together. But now their daughter slept nearby, and outside, students practiced healing arts Clara had taught them, and messengers carried news of the healing centers that would spread Clara's knowledge across the kingdom. "I love you," Clara said softly. "I love you too, my wife, my partner, my angel." Clara smiled. "Remember when people called us monsters?" "Fools," Bram said with a grin. "They just couldn't see angels yet." Outside, stars shone down on Bram Hall, on the gardens Clara had planted, on the life they'd built together. A life that proved simple truth. Sometimes the people the world rejects become the people the world needs most. Sometimes monsters become angels, and sometimes angels were angels all along.